Oh
Mummy
my
talk.
gosh.
It is
Oh,
time for
mummy.
mummy
Can
talk.
we please
Um,
put these mummies to rest today? Holy
we
moly.
are. We are
Yeah,
putting the mummies
absolutely.
to rest, Suzanne, and so are many others. In a recent episode of Weaponized, Jeremy Corbell and George Knapp interviewed Will Brown, creator of the Incredible History YouTube channel. I've started watching videos over there. Go subscribe, guys.
Awesome
He's doing
channel.
wonderful work. Really good channel. He brought on some people over on Incredible History to talk about why they believe they have proven that the Nazca mummies are a hoax. And in turn, Jeremy Corbell and George Knapp had them on Weaponized to talk about this. I'm going to show a short clip from the Weaponized podcast. So, Will Brown, along with biological anthropologist Dr. Dan Proctor and radiologist Michelle Adams, examined the controversial claims surrounding the Nazca alien mummies. Brown, who initially approached the case as a believer and even traveled to South America to investigate, now claims his latest reporting exposes it to be a hoax. So let's watch this very quick clip from Weaponized, where these three that I just mentioned do talk about this and why they believe that they have proven that it is a hoax. So let me pull this up quick. Here we go.
To your satisfaction and to everybody you're talking to right now, have you debunked these Peruvian or Nazca mummies? Have you debunked them, or are there still questions that you have? Would you like to see DNA analysis, by Colossal Biosciences, or are you done? Are you like, this is an absolute fabrication? Please tell me your strongest standpoint right now.
Well, for me, absolutely, they're fake, and I don't think DNA can answer the question anyway. Not your standard test from a lab, just any random lab. I don't think it would. I don't think it's going to shed any light on the issue, and it certainly isn't going to correct the issues we find with the anatomy. That's still there. So yeah, for me, the case is closed.
All I needed to see was the analysis by Dr. Proctor with Maria. Montserrat is also very interesting, but Maria, it has the provenance. I believe an 8 or 9 year head start before we started seeing these other big ones. So if maybe there's some proponents out there that can go, okay, Maria is definitely fake, but look at Montserrat. Montserrat still got tendons on the foot or whatever. You're now making the argument that the original one that they drug out 8 years ago is fake, but these new ones are real. So that's why provenance is important here. And I believe Michelle in the video said Maria's feet looks like arts and crafts, where like Montserrat, they put a little bit more effort into it. So yeah, I think they're fake.
Jerry, you? Sorry,
Really?
Michelle.
So they're definitely human beings. If you do some research on how they used to mummify people in that part of the world, and they call it annular artificial cranial deformation, where they would like wrap fabric or bands around their head to get that conical shape. I did a video on that today to kind of help show people. A lot of what you see in these overlaps with customs that were traditional to that area at that time frame. So there were also some cultures that used to disassemble their dead as a way to pay homage or grieve. So there was a whole bunch of things that once I started looking at this and you add them all together, you just go, God, this is like, it's hard to wrap your head around. But for me, these are fake. These are human beings that have been manipulated.
Okay. So, manipulation, tampering, possible financial motives behind the promotion of the mummies. Yeah, if you go over to Incredible History, they do go through the examination and analysis of why they believe it was manipulated. It is extremely convincing and makes a lot of sense. Yeah, and that these things have been traded on the black market for a really long time. And they believe that these things are human, they have been manipulated, and we've all been taken for a ride, at least those who believe these were genuine. So yeah, let's go from there. What do you guys think? Suzanne, we'll go down the line here. What do you make of us finally putting the Nazca mummies to rest? And does this explain all of the mummies? That's another question we should contend with. What do you think?
This has always been a bit of a heartbreak for me in terms of the bodies of these humans being used this way. I have always had issue with the sort of pressure campaign around them, and radar just always seemed to me like this is a hoax, and I think that's exactly what you're watching. And then on the other mummies not addressed in the work here, here's what I think. There's an old saying lawyers live by: false in one, false in all. Walk away from the topic, walk away from the sideshow, step out, don't give the clicks, don't give the comments, don't give the views. Walk away.
Absolutely. Walk away. That's a song. I don't remember who sings it. Walk away. It was from Magic Gravity. Oh my God, that was a
Oh my
early
God.
2000s show.
Pulled
Dan,
it
did you
out of the
ever listen
hat.
to Magic Gravity?
Yep. Long time ago.
I don't know if he could hear me. Dad, can you hear me?
I think he's stuck. Oh, there he
I
is.
can. Sorry, I was just finding a
Oh, there you
picture
go.
that I took in Mexico that was relevant to what we're talking about, and I had to dig
Oh,
through, but I
okay.
found it.
Sorry.
I found some fake
You look
artifacts
so-
in a
yeah.
museum.
Oh, good.
Okay. Yeah, pull them up.
Kind
if
of
you want, buddy.
exemplifies the point, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, hold on.
Well, let's go from
I'll
there.
share my
Yeah.
screen now.
What do you think?
Okay, so I'm sharing my screen there, so you should be able to see that.
Okay. Oh, there it is. Let me grab that. Before presenting, oops, hold on. Could tell I haven't done a live stream in a while. They are
Well, they
changing
updated
everything up on me.
everything and modified it
What?
too. It's all different. There you go.
Yeah, they
Cool.
did. There we go. Okay.
Okay, so these were in a museum in
right.
Mexico when I was traveling
Ooh,
through. You
what do
see
we got
them?
here?
And I see these presented
Yep.
in so many places as genuine artifacts that show, indigenous alien figures and reliefs and things like that. Every single one in this case, and it's labeled as such, is a fake. There are so many there's a trade going on where they just have these things and they make them and they sell them to tourists and they sell them to visitors and things like that. They're pretty cool. Don't get me wrong. I wouldn't have minded owning one, but I'm not paying an extortionate amount. And apparently Maria is up for sale on the black market for about $1 million.
Oh,
So for me, if that had come with the initial press conferences, I would have immediately wrote this whole thing off. But it's kind of been downplayed. So here we have 3 independent experts collaborating, and they're really, really niche professions as well. And I think when we've been seeing people like Jesse Michaels and some of the lawyers go down and things like that and study these things, and they come away saying, I don't know. What I'm seeing now is a lot of people saying, oh, well, were they stupid? They have expertise. Were they stupid? And the truth of it is, no, they're not stupid, but they also still don't know what they're looking at. Just like I don't know what I'm looking at when I'm looking at some of these things. I forgot the name of it. The guy who is commenting in the weaponized episode in Will's video on Incredible History, he talks about the hands and how really a 7-year-old could notice that the hands were built with human bones in this way. And I said to him, I was like, well, to be honest, my knowledge of hands is fingers, thumb, hand. So probably about a 1-year-old's level of knowledge. So I was like, so you can't really blame me for not having the 7-year-old knowledge. I just haven't studied this stuff, so I don't know. But that is why I listen to
middle
experts.
finger. Yeah.
Middle finger, right?
Exactly.
I know that one. But
Americans
very
know
basic.
that one well. Yeah.
Very
but
basic.
there's a
And
lot
then-
of research out there on exactly this topic. What humans do when they want to believe a thing and what they're willing to set aside in discernment in order to do that. And this research bubbled up out of the art world, where experts in various galleries would be presented with something and their radar says something's off. And they will literally work their way around that, despite the fact that that radar never leaves them. And then ultimately it will be proved that that radar was right. And I think a lot around these mummies and what Dan is showing us now is the same. Humans want to believe that, and they will disregard the subliminal indicia in order to do it.
Right. And I think that key phrase there as well, right? We want to believe. I want to believe. Stop messing with me with this fake stuff, please. Like, I want to put my energy towards genuine
Exactly. And it's an
investigation and
energy
discovery.
question, Dan. It is. Let's
Mhm.
let's use our energy in a more productive way.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
There
and I
was.
mean,
Sorry, go on, Ryan.
oh, I was going to say the want to believe has driven ufology since the dawn of modern ufology, if not earlier. I mean, we want to believe there is something else out there, and we will be willing to sacrifice, due diligence, common sense at times, or even a simple Google search to validate our beliefs or what someone else is telling us to believe, which is a hint for our final story of the night. But yeah, that want to believe will always be there. It is on the X-Files poster, which I think was genius. That the UFO in that poster is a fake, is a
Right.
hoax, is a fraud. It is the dichotomy, the irony cannot be lost on
That's right.
this. So yeah, that's all I wanted
Exactly.
to add. Sorry to interrupt,
Just
Dan.
no, that's okay. So I just wanted to add in. So there was a video. If you go to Will's video on Incredible History on this with these three experts, they've linked Steve Mirror's video, and Steve was invited to. He's an investigator from the UK, does the Awakening conference, that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
He was invited to study these things before they were announced, and they documented their experiences as they did it. There is testimony from someone that knows the gravedigger telling him, oh yeah, he sent me out into the desert to look for dried nerves, look for a dried heart, look for ones with brains, look for ones with hands. So I was bringing all these things in bags to him, and he said he was going to give me $300, and then he didn't pay me, and I couldn't eat that day. So this is the level of stuff that we're talking about. Also, when Steve Mirror showed up, so they flew out, they booked all the hotels. They were like, we're going to come and investigate this for you. We'll record everything, and we'll promote it for you. If it's on the up and up. They arrived, and when they were picked up from their hotel by the guys to show them the bodies, the guys refused to move the car, and they said, oh, well, we'll only show you the bodies. You need to give us $1,000 American dollars. And Steve was saying in this video, like, we knew we were being swindled, but you're kind of in the moment and you've already spent thousands, and you're like, well, I kind of want to see what they've got now. So we paid the 1,000 and we went through with it. So the average salary in a country like that is not the same as the average salary in the USA or the UK. Like, everything is relative. $1,000 in someone's hand in cash, huge boost to their monthly earnings. Huge. So we need to adjust. They're going to do this only for $1,000. No, that's a lot of money. And as it was said in that weaponized video there, essentially what the argument is now is that one's a hoax. That one's a hoax. That one's a hoax. That one's a hoax. But this one isn't a hoax. Please believe us. Why wouldn't you believe us? And it's like, no. The onus is on you to prove this. So you need your peer-reviewed study finally out. You've had 10 years to do this almost with some of these bodies, and you haven't. So you need to do this if you want to respond. And also I'm seeing people say, well, the DNA studies will prove otherwise. The DNA studies are another puzzle piece. They are both, first order kind of analysis things. The DNA cannot prove that there are no human bones in the hand. That ship has sailed. There are human bones in the hand. If the DNA turns out that it's something mysterious, then, there will be explanations for that that will be discussed by the relevant experts. But we cannot take away the fact that multiple of these specimens have been shown to be fakes, to be manipulated human bones. And they even come, if you buy one of these on the black market, they even come with a fake provenance video that shows you them digging this body out of the sand in the desert. And it's all faked. It's all faked. It's insane.
Oh my God. It's like when they say, like, oh, you can buy this star out there in space.
Yeah.
Right.
Like you own this star. Here's your certificate. Like, yeah, good luck when
Good
an
luck.
alien race comes in,
Yeah.
like, oh shoot, that's Suzanne's. Let's move to the next one to get our power to continue our voyage. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, crazy. Yeah, I mean, there were some good comments here in the chat as well. Gandalf says it would be nice to see the experts who claim they are real NHI recant, especially the forensics guy. I mean, WTF? Yeah. I mean, and look, the Nazca mummy or the alien mummy community is just like any other sub-community within ufology. If you attack their beliefs, they come back tenfold, and they will be extremely disrespectful. They will, you know, troll you. They will dox you. Like, these are unfortunately the threats that we live in today in a social media world. So I am interested to see how they respond to this, how they respond to these people who have basically almost 100% proven that these are a hoax, and where we'll go from here. But I think for the three of us, we're kind of just ready to move on. I've been ready to move on
Yeah.
a long time
Me
ago.
too. Me too.
Ignorantly, I can't pretend that I looked at all the convincing evidence. So I am guilty of that. But yeah, I think we can now say at least these mummies have been manipulated, are human, and are being sold. You know, and that money drives all of this. Follow the money,
Every-
as we always say.
100%. If I was rich, I would take these independent scientists that are looking at this, find a bunch more, go there, buy the bodies off them for the million, you know, with the blessing of authorities, and we would study them, and we would put every single one of these people in jail, and it would be done.
Over.
Done. Oh, I love that
There would
sting
be nothing to
operation.
say.
I
Yeah,
love
let's
it,
do it.
man.